Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the Daily Dharma, and today during the warm-up, just shaking out the decks here and getting the vibes going for the day. The cards already have started talking, and so I decided to just go ahead without further ado and start the reading. So the first deck that started having some popping cards was my mixed Kali and Kuan Yin deck. First one out, just as I was thinking in my head about it would be nice to have a Kali card today. The blue Terra card came out of that deck. And blue Terra is a nice, youthful figure, as I recall. Sometimes I do like using the book in that deck, but first, we're just going to go through channeled messages, and then at the end, we'll go through and look at that if there's time. And then under the deck, when that one flew, was from the Kuan Yin deck, number 34, the Amaryllis Lute. And I looked below that, and we've got 32, Tai Chi Rising. So both Amaryllis Lute and Tai Chi Rising are talking about the raising vibration that is at play now in many of our lives. Tai Chi Rising is almost the stirred Kundalini, if that makes sense to you, something that has inspired our passions to, once those energies become activated in our energy, it begins to create pressure, inspiration, and what it does is it builds energy until the energy spills forth from ourselves. But it creates that presence and the magnetism. When that pressure begins to build, other entities and energies are drawn in magnetically to that Kundalini activation. So whatever it is that's stirred this, it is definitely at play. And we have this Amaryllis Lute is talking about how the resulting vibration, maybe to you, this seems like it's been such an incremental shift in your energy that maybe this comes, I'm hearing with, for some of us, a bit of sadness as the old comfort zones and friendships and pastimes, hobbies are falling to the wayside, and also mixed and mingled amongst that, almost the grieving process of what was, is this rising excitement about what's to come. But I think that various people are going to have differing comfort with these shifts and changes, depending on how supportive your environment is and so on, and how prepared you are. Blue Terra here, it seems like this individual is rising up from the lotus, but she does have the necklace of skulls that Kali is often depicted with, but with her third eye, the sun, moon, halo behind, murky in the background. It talks about humble beginnings to me, but the flowers are coming up as well. Yeah, we'll put that one down here. We'll get back to that in just a minute. It just talks definitely about where you've been, and that this is coming from efforts. So in the astrological deck, I at first thought, oh, well, that's interesting. I am an astrologer and have the chart laid out next to the camera here. But the things that came out were a stack of 3. The number 21 says Venus, beloved. And there is a beloved card in other decks. So that one has the bloom, the flowers, the structure of spears here. It talks a lot about abundance. Even Venus rules image, love, nature, romance, of course, but also finance. So in balance in general. And it comes out with beautiful Pallas Athene. Think. She's the strategy goddess and the um, brainchild of Zeus, I believe, if I don't have my mythology twisted. And so she represents spontaneous thought becoming things. And it's almost like this rebirthing process here of changing, elevating vibrational resonance that are perhaps causing certain things to vibrate out of your experience, but then it opens the doors to other things coming in. And we have here square, semi-square, or quincunx tension. Look at those birds colliding in the ethers here. So tension, how is tension showing up in your life? It could be in relationships with the ideas, so many things coming through at once. Strategy in relationship can sometimes make things very tense indeed, right? Right. So if we're able to think from a higher vantage point here, elevated consciousness, empathy for the other individual and what they may be going through, then we're going to be thinking instead of reacting to things that are perhaps don't belong to that situation. With this tension here, it's telling me that many people are bringing home tensions from their job or from other situations. Many people that are on any type of social platform or in amongst social groups where they're networking, they're kind of, some people are aware and other people not so much, that as we are encountering these other energies, we're kind of taking on some of what they may be dealing with. And so this tension can create energies within us that aren't necessarily our own, but they're there for a reason. They're triggering some type of new thought pattern that is going to help us to do that inner self-development and rebalance ourselves. Sorry, I'm just kind of calling to the dog. He looks alert. I will apologize in advance if there's any barking. So under the deck here, on the astrology deck, we've got Libra, balance. Leo is poking out below, and also 7th house, relationships. So Venus, relationships. Libra is the sign of relationships. So rebalancing here with the scales is like, what's worth fighting for, and are we really fighting for the right things, or are we just at war with tension and recreating that? You know, are we judging, or are we tolerating and accepting too much? Then that creates resentments and closed energies on both people's behalves. Whereby, if we are, no, stop that. Hey, stop. My dog likes to eat things. Leave it. And didn't mean for that to interrupt the flow there. But when we're tolerant and open to the other individual, not fearing judgment, then that creates warmth, openness, reciprocity, engagement, and curiosity versus accusations. You know where I'm going with that one. So now let's see what else wants to speak to us. So I was also going to mention, before going too far with the astrology stuff, those ones popping out. I also saw Mars under the deck here. I think it was a number 22 or something here popping out. We've got a 7, 1938. 22 was Mars, which says motion. So maybe some extra energy put into something physical will help alleviate tensions and constructively work through any aggressive tendencies instead of coming out verbally with your mate or your other partners and groups. Descendant, invitation. I saw Capricorn under here. And there's the resources second house card from yesterday. There was one more I was going to call out too. But anyways, back to this. The Venus and this square card with tension. Venus today is, or at around the next few days, I know this is a timeless reading, but at the time of this recording, this is influenced by these events in the sky. And Venus is in a T-square pattern with the nodes of the moon. You'll have to look into that if you don't know what they are, but it represents our high path and our comfort zone, where we're going and where we've been, in essence. And in T-square with those elements, the two nodes, the high node, where we're going right now and what we're developing in our lives, is in the sign of Aries. Courage, adventure, self-application, self-motivation and application towards creation of something. Momentum is there. That's what we're developing. And where we've been is represented by the sign of Libra, which is on the cards, or in the cards here today. Rebalancing, equalization, equaling the scales out if any type of power or control dynamic has been at play, whether you're dealing with situations with children, with parents, with workplace, or in an intimate partnership. The energies can work through everybody's lives differently, but pushed by the same type of tension to work through how we can be more self-contained, self-sustained, and self-pollinating, creating our own interests and our own mechanisms for coping with things and alleviating our own tensions helps us to come back to the important peopling skills and helps us to handle ourselves in a more constructive and more uplifting way. And the implications and benefits of that are incredible. So I'm sure you can figure out in your own life how some of those things and opportunities are showing themselves. Voice is a little off today. I don't know if I'm fighting something or not. Sometimes that reminds me, with these elements on the table, we've got these vibrational increases, and many of you may be aware that during times of significant growth and release of old energies, there's definitely a detoxification process. Some people will call them ascension symptoms. So perhaps this is affecting you. I've heard many people talking about digestive issues this last few months. I know the sun is going through incredible changes, and I don't know as much about the sun's energy, but it did come up in some cards yesterday. Let's see. Ooh. I believe this is a 63. The Venom. Take that in. So the fangs are out. The moon is down the throat here. It's yellows and greens and a little bit of orange around the black. So to me, I equate much of that to our chakra wheels of the body. And green is the heart space. Yellow, the solar plexus, which is directly below that. And then the sacral chakra in the pit of the stomach area, just above the root. And that's the other one I was going to call attention to. The imminent coli is the root of the astrological chart. That was under the deck as well. So the Venom, it tells me that there is an advancement here within the heart space, a heart upgrade that is washing away some of our defensiveness that may be based in potentially insecurities, self-worth, or judgments, shame and guilt, pushing previously into aggression and resentment, whether it's buried or internalized or projected out onto other people as victim, martyr, or savior dynamics that have played out, or power and control dynamics we mentioned. It seems that those energies have been worked through quite a bit here. And now that sacral orange is shown as a halo behind the head. So it's as though this Leo energy, which showed yesterday and today, is talking about working through that shame and now having that be part of what has created the most significant connection to your healing potential and capacity here. The main drives is perhaps for you something to do with helping others in service in some way, but particularly in making others feel good about themselves. And you may just do this in conversation, or you may consider yourself somebody who is in the healing modalities in some type of a way, or maybe you're getting these services from others, but that breakthrough in further security, and I'm seeing Venus is also orange here, is creating more confidence and courage and inner strength. It's those character building moments that have come to the point where the venom is sometimes the antidote. So the pain becomes, what is that? The venom becomes infused in the antidote. So the anti-venom is kind of where I'm going with this. Under the deck, let's see, the Poet. So perhaps you are taking some of this perspective, the pain, your own, or the pain of the world, and putting into some type of artistic medium. It doesn't necessarily need to be poetry per se, but the way that you speak, the tone that you take, the eye contact that you make, it's in the way that you show up and exchange energies with others, creating unity, synergy, and mutual collaboration. So, all right. So the daily Dharma I designed around these cards here, these Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle deck. And I do feel that they represent some higher angelic influences, creating energetic reformation in our lives. Does that make any sense for you guys? So yeah, every energy and every card that is here represents a code, an activation code. The first one out, beautiful as usual, 44, universal love. Exactly, we're talking about unity consciousness here. So 44, we'll put that right in the middle here with our sun. 44, it says, the frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other, to our planet, and to the whole of existence itself. The other popping card, 31, magic. You're creating magic with your words or with your whatever poetry you're creating. And this reminds me, we've got the Poet is number 7. And this one is 63, which is a 9. And I had this earlier, yes. The Amaryllis Lute that popped out first is 34, which is a 7. And the Blue Tarot card was 1 plus 7 is 8. So we've got 7 and 8 and 9 right there. And we do have now a 31 and a 32 with Tai Chi here, which is 4 and 5. So is 6 missing. We've got a 7 on Libra. We've got a 3 from 21, another 9 and another 3. So if we got a 6 on the board, we just about have all of the numbers represented here. And we get 8, alchemy, under the deck. And you don't normally reduce the 44, it's a master number, but technically 4 plus 4 is 8. So I'd like to read these just a bit. So magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move towards possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. So we're somehow witnessing our impact upon others and able to change that and alchemize, shifting the dynamics that we're engaged with. The frequency of alchemy activates our magical ability and remembrance of the magic that we all hold inside. Each one of us has the potential to access the ancient knowledge that allowed the true alchemist to perform the miracles of transmutation. And these aspects also came up yesterday. It was working with shifting energies, and I'm seeing these orange discs, and then here with the poet, the orange is kind of expressed throughout, and the center is now clear like a crystal ball. But it's almost like if you look at those hands holding that clear disc of white, it's as though the energy has been transmuted through touch therapy or some type of intentional holding of something and working through it. And then once those energies are cleared out, it's crystal clear like a crystal ball, and we're able to further utilize our magic to create more love for ourselves and for those that speak to us and through us. Let's see. We are at 22s again. I tend to look at the 22s. All right, I guess we can take a couple more. I'll try to keep these a little shorter, but I think between 20 and 30 minutes is about where I'm at for things. Okay. Do you see that is the alchemy card and the hand lit up with an orange disc? Whew. This seems incredible to me. This rebirth into your magical capacity. It seems to be a rebirth. Perhaps something took you down into a period of rest and reclamation of your overextended energies. There was a rest in a cocoon hermitage phase that's now you reemerging, re-experiencing your divine magic that is working literally through your body. And that orange disc is burned off into the white flame with the blue and the purples around it. It's got deep roots in this bedrock here. So it's like very ancient and divine and elemental energies all working through you at once. I'm not going to peek under this big stack. It came out together, but I saw the shift card yesterday in my own reading. It seems like this can push through here. It's to me, it's very reminiscent of this Amaryllis lute, talking about as you are vibrating higher, things are transmuting that violet energy. Things are shifting away and gaining new perspectives. And then these are the ones I'll take. The first popping ones were very nice. We've got fortitude. That is very interesting natural magic there with this gentleman masculine energy depicted with so many totem animals. It's as though he is perhaps working with animal energies, and that sometimes makes me want to jump into the animal deck, but I'm seeing there's a lot of people over here as well. Perhaps his ancestors are coming through the form of other animals. So if you may be seeing specific animals regularly, on here I see some type of elk or caribou, a weasel, a hawk, a bobcat, mountain lion, coyote, deer, and he's got a thread with his heart. So carrying forth the energy of the ancestors here, and not even your own ancestors, but the unity consciousness beyond incarnation is speaking through the animals, through this individual. It's very shamanic, I want to say. Somebody who does journeys and meditations to connect and work with energies naturally. Second is the context card, and being able to be the childlike spark that is the magic, the belief in the magic that these animals or whatever wisdom is coming through, whatever messengers are showing themselves to you. This spark is almost reminding me of like someone watching the fire during the broadcast and almost being able to see shapes and figures. So if fire is important to you, you may find some magic with fire gazing, candle gazing. But it may also talk about somebody who is a fire sign, or somebody who has a very fiery persona or impact upon others, or literally somebody with red hair. But I'm seeing the berries around the hair as a bittersweet vine, and talking about the life experiences have been bittersweet, but the context that we place it in, the character that we forge, and the fortitude that we are able to show up with that magic instead of the pulling others under and eclipsing their energies. By putting our own experiences into proper context, we can assist others with the most mundane and very understated magic in our connection. Alliance. See, this is the alliance with spirit that I'm seeing coming through this fortitude card. Do you see how they're all stacked, creating almost this cross here? And I'm not very Western religious fanatic at any extent of the imagination, but the cross to me is greater than religious doctrine. It's more of the wheel of the year in this case, talking about how the seasons come and that there is oppositional energy at play, as above so below, as within so without, as the universe so the soul. So as every element shows itself, even the earthworm and the housefly and the mosquito are the nuisances that are part of the divine magic. And this wheel here is that medicine wheel, the ability to be one's own personal shaman or to go through a shamanic experience here, to stretch beyond the borders of the comfort zone, beyond the confines and the identity prospects of being in this incarnation and being socialized beings with the need for validation and acceptance. So I'm feeling that all of these things are that this is that Tai Chi rising moment where the Kundalini has risen out and branches out, and where the body becomes the activated tree of life, sparkling, magical, shifting into the crystalline grid instead of the old carbon blueprints. You are the alchemist and the shaman, it seems. So let's close this out with some cards from the shamanic deck, the blended deck. We'll take those, I guess. Under the deck, we have number 6. There's our number 6, the blade. So the athame, if you are one who practices that, is sometimes the aspect of the masculine that can, the word cut is somewhat aggressive, but it can help peel away the layers of the onion to get down to the good fruit. So it's all of those old skins that need to be shed, like the snake. And speaking of reptilian, then this card in general, I'm splitting it now, it looks like a reptilian eye, a dragon's eye. And under that is the arrow. Maybe Sagittarian energy here at play too, but it's directly through an orange disc. And so this is powerful energy, and that's the 3, half of the 6, and this becomes the yellow. So there's definitely a lot of energy in the pit of the gut area that's calling this Kundalini energy up and bringing us into alignment with earthly energy so that we can be that rainbow bridge that helps other individuals to cross over their consciousness from their old ways and old habits into their newer expressions. I'm hearing something new. Someone is here, so I'll finish us out. The deck, we have 52 straddling worlds. What did I say? Rainbow bridge. Those transmutative energies are taking our ability to wander between realms, utilizing that multidimensional self, activating our Merkaba. Ooh, talking about shamanic, there's that jaguar energy, activating the so-called darkness, that yin magnetic energy, to be using our mystery and allowing others to show themselves and to speak to us, and just being the sounding board for some people. That's the 28. The curse, look at that. Transmuting our own inability to join in the conversation, perhaps, and to take our seat at the table. And netcaster, preparations come to fruition. So your own troubles and tribulations have allowed you to make the proper preparations to help people go from their low comfort zone, low node energy into their higher node. And this Venus square, this tension that you may be feeling, is actually evidence that you are potentially taking other people's process into your hands and need to not allow this to sit in your field, but to use your momentum and your motivation to help process and shift this energy through you and for you. So I am going to leave it there. I hope you are all doing well, and I'm looking forward to being back here again more. And tell me what you think and what you thought of this reading, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.